Hey, Joe Mastriano, and are you afraid to succeed? Are you afraid to fail? We talked about fear of success before. How about fear of failure as it relates to your self talk affirmations? I don't think anyone's afraid of being able to say them because you wrote them down and you recorded them, and you don't even have to say them. You could listen to the recording. But are you afraid that it won't happen? That's not part of the program. You're not supposed to analyze whether you're afraid of failing at one of the affirmations. So don't do that. Focusing. Are you afraid that you'll miss times of focus? Maybe, but who cares? I do that all the time. I go through a whole day and I say, how many times did you try to focus? And I realized that part of focusing and making the best of the day comes and goes based on how much it's ingrained in me. When I drive to work, I'm a different person. I don't curse out people that cut me off anything like I used to. And so that comes natural. I have a great drive into work. I focus on my billable time. I talked about that in another video. But there are times someone will call me up and it'll be a client that I like and I have a conversation with, and I'll find myself a half hour later. It was personal conversation. I couldn't bill it. And then I wasn't focused. But I don't live in fear that that'll happen too much because I've determined that I'm probably an 80% at doing this. I will a certain percentage of times go off track, and that's okay. And it needs to be okay for you. Do not judge how well you're doing this as a determination for whether you'll continue or not. And I'll say that again. Don't judge how well you're doing this as a determination or to lead to a determination of whether you're going to continue this or not. It's the continuing of it that will get you to do better and better and better. It's why people give up exercise programs. They put themselves in a program and they fail and then they fail and they say, why bother? When it's very simple. If you're in a weightlifting program, take a 5 pound dumbbell and do presses and curls 5 at a time. It's not hard to do, but your brain, your ego says, oh no, that's not good enough. What kind of muscle can I build? Instead of realizing you're building a habit. And it's critical here that you build a habit. So, your end of day notes, fear of failure, no. I failed. I mentioned before I failed to do it for a whole week. I don't think a week goes by, to tell you the truth, that 7 days in a row I've done my end of day notes. But I'm working on it and I'm not giving up. Confidence. How could you be afraid? How could you be afraid you're going to fail at looking up confidence? and learning about confidence, because that's all you're doing is learning about confidence. When you're ready to start putting things into action and taking a course on confidence or reading a book and following those steps, you'll know. You'll know because you won't be afraid anymore. Accepting yourself, being afraid of failing at that. Well, I don't really know anyone that doesn't fail. I fail at accepting myself many times. How many times do I hesitate having a conversation with someone I know I need to? How many times do I not use a closing attempt in a sale because I'm afraid it might not work and it might backfire? So there'll always be failure, and failure is how we learn. Learning to ride a bicycle, you fall, and then you don't fall, and then you learn how to ride a bicycle. So, creating your day, notice how these videos, if you've listened to some of them before on these limiting type beliefs, they tend to be repetitious because they really don't apply. There's no reason, there's no excuse not to do this. And it's been designed that way. I would have had this done years ago, but I wanted to get rid of my own fears, fear of failure, fear of a lot of things. But I also wanted it to be so that you don't have those issues. I wanted to take those issues away from you. So creating your day, if you're afraid of failing at items that you listed to do, like read a book or your daily workouts, shrink it down. Shrink it down to where you have to laugh and say, I can do this. There's nothing to doing this. I write my end of day notes. I remind myself of the 6 items. Of course, when you write your end of day notes, there's only 5 items left. And you do it over and over, and you adjust. The only most critical thing you do to adjust is you adjust things so that you do it every day. If you're not doing one of the items, fix it so that you increase the percentage of times that you do it. And if you're at a standstill in one and it doesn't change, so what? I've sat for months at the same level of my self-talk affirmations, and that level was hardly doing it at all until I eventually had a breakthrough. That's it.